I had to learn a lot. I had to learn a lot of chemistry. I had to learn anatomy, physiology.
You drain the blood at your place?
Yeah, I've been known to.
It's a weird question, but I know that it happens.
So that's what I'm saying. These are the questions I want.
You're asking about embalming. So yes,
Yeah.
I don't do it nearly as much as I did. I have people that work for me.
Right.
But yeah, every now and then I get in there and I show them the kids still got it.
My dog just shit all over the place at home. That's why I'm fucking late. Shit everywhere.
Now, I know you have a small dog, but I have a medium-sized dog. Every time my dog shits in my house, it's the biggest shit I've ever seen. Like, is there a reason?
Always.
Why it's the biggest shit?
Well, if you have a big dog, it's a big shit.
I have two big dogs. I have a German Shepherd that's a year and a half and is 120 pounds.
Wow. Big shit.
And then I have a Mastiff that when I say we rescued, I mean somebody rescued and we adopted from the dog meat markets of South Korea. And he's 170 pounds. Every morning, it looks like a pack of people shit in my backyard.
Bro, those dog shit is the same size as my dog.
That's true.
Yeah, no, it is.
Yeah. She's like 6 pounds. That's a fucking Mastiff shit right there.
Right now, speaking of dog shit, we're putting a pool in the backyard, and we have a section of the backyard like cut off, and that's usually where the dog shit.
Yep.
And so right now they're going through a real like period, like because like dogs are like fucking they do the same thing same way every day, and they're kind of freaking out. So the one guy's like peed a couple times now. I'm waiting for the shit. Shit's coming.
Hasn't shit in a couple days since you ripped up the
No, it's just fucking up their flow.
Yeah, they wait. They're spiteful. I'm putting the pool in too. It's like, I gotta be honest, one of the worst experiences of my life.
Yeah, I'm getting ready. It's starting next week, and I'm embracing myself for a horrible experience.
The amount of mud, the dogs, the kids, they don't listen.
It's gonna be so awful that you guys have a pool in 90-degree weather. It's gonna be sad.
Yeah,
it's tough.
It's gonna be tough.
I believe the term is white people problems.
How long has it been taking to put it in?
So I had a little bit of an issue with the plumbing, which was my fault, not the pool guy's fault. It was supposed to be all done in 2 months, so it's going to be like a month and a half. But I did a lot of work. We did a 18 by 36 with like a sun ledge, a ton of pavers, a pavilion.
You're in for it.
I got no money left.
You're in for it.
Yeah, sounds all good things, but things go well here. Maybe we'll have you over.
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
This could be my best behavior.
This could be the jump off.
Come over for the pride party.
Yeah, we'll have cake too. Big unicorn.
But like, how is it ruining your birthday month? Like, what's happening?
We're really going to talk about this?
Is there like a specific thing on your birthday that's like
I was just busting
you can't
balls.
go to Chuck E. Cheese because there's a pride parade?
No, I was just busting balls. I just always loved the month of June because it's such a spectacular month, and now it's just taken over by something else.
I don't think you should backpedal now. I mean,
Yeah.
What did I say? I don't even know what I said. Did I black out already?
Disgruntled. Yeah.
I was?
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's just frustrating. Everything on TV, everything is everything's rainbow.
Like June should be about you instead of
June should be about the start of summer and how wonderful the weather is getting. People are getting happier. Now we have.
So then, if you had to move it to another month, what month would you choose for them?
For Pride Month?
For Pride Month?
Interesting.
So I'll take August.
I would prefer something in like the cold weather, so I put some goddamn clothes on.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Nobody needs to see that.
That's a good point.
There's kids. They do a whole parade right down the middle of the Village of Babylon.
Well, you can't give them February. What are
January?
You gonna give 'em? January? Yeah, nothing goes on in January.
Exactly.
Meg, what do you feel about January?
I actually don't prefer January as a month.
There'll be no parades.
Yeah, January is a horrible month.
Yeah.
I'm saying either March, just combine it with St. Patrick's Day, because that's wild.
Nah, you can't Catholics and the
Or
gays.
August.
No good.
Oh, the Catholics got to get over it at this point. Anyway, Pride Month.
Everything's a month though at this point.
There's not enough
Like
months.
St. Patrick's Day is a month.
Yeah, what's a month of
Every
celebrations,
fucking
right?
weekend.
So let's talk about how Vince takes care of dead people.
Yes.
Is that like a family business? Like you guys have been in it for a long time?
Yeah, so it's 101 years old this year.
Wow.
It's family owned and operated since 1923. My great-grandfather started the business back in Brooklyn. They migrated out here. We've been out in West Babylon ever since. Grew up, born and raised in the business. I lived in West Babylon for a while. We moved to Wanto when I was in 8th grade. Fast forward a bunch of years later, I met Jesse at the networking group, and here I am.
Nice.
It's the long and short version, I guess.
Is it like one of the funeral houses that you like live in?
No, so
Funeral
we have
houses.
it's a
Funeral home. Sorry, Jesse.
yeah, it's
Has anybody else ever said funeral house in the history?
Definitely, I would think people have.
yeah.
I have never heard the
I'm
fucking
sure-
term funeral house.
All right.
The
Ever.
first person that popped in my head was probably like, there's a Jamaican who was probably like, I got to go near the funeral house. Other than that, I think you take the cake.
Kurt's number 2.
Like, what's the history of like why'd they get into it? Just to make money, or they
I
were
think
like passionate
so.
about
From
it?
what I heard from my grandfather back in the day, his father, they would always see like these big showy guys pulling up in these Cadillacs, and you know, a lot of like cabinet makers were also casket makers. So if I'm not mistaken, he was a cabinet maker, and they just took a shot. You know, they had all these, like I said, they were all well dressed. They would the similar story happened to me when I chose to go into that business. It was my father owned oil companies, and my grandfather on my mother's side owned the funeral home. I would go to work for my dad, you know, swinging a wrench from 6-7 o'clock in the morning. And then I'd leave at like 2:30. I'd throw a suit on and I'd go relieve my grandfather and work like the night shift. And he'd be like hanging out in the suit. Sometimes he was taking a nap. So I was like, man, I'm doing all this work here, like hard work, or I could just go back to college. I had 2 uncles. One is a heavy machine operator. The other one had life problems. They were going to sell the business. And I was like, you know, hey, I've been here since I'm a kid. Like, I'd like to take a shot at it. So I went to college, got my degree in mortuary science, and then I took over the business, and I want to say like 2007-ish. And then just fingers crossed, trying not to screw it up ever since.
I can't ask the question because I can't say the word. But what did you go to school for?
Mortuary science.
What is that?
It's
Try to say it.
Mortuary science.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Mortuary?
Mortuary.
Mortuary science.
You got it.
All right.
He'll butcher it 24
go,
times
go.
before the end of this.
Where were we? I don't even remember now.
I think he asked you what that was.
What is that?
So it's just the study of funeral directing and reality.
Oh, okay.
To dumb it down a little bit.
Okay.
No offense.
Science,
You have
though.
to dumb everything down for me.
So so believe it or not, there's a lot of education that goes into it. We have to look out for all sorts of diseases to protect ourselves. We have to know what people died from. There's all psychology behind it. So, you know, there's transference of feelings. Like you come in, sometimes, you know, it's like people act like I killed their loved one. And it's like, you got to kind of just put it in a box and,
Wow.
you know.
Never thought about
That's
that.
interesting.
Yeah, you got to, you know, they're paying you. Part of the reason you pay the funeral home, obviously, is aside from doing the actual work, is to kind of get you through everything. You know, like you don't want me next to you hysterical crying. Like that's, you know,
Sure.
There's a lot of logistics of what has to happen. So if somebody
Yeah.
else is handling that, that's a
Like
real
a steady
service.
hand.
Yeah, it's pretty much, I would say 50% logistics of just getting things lined up. This is what we need to do. This needs to be here at this time. And, you know, you get it all done. I actually really, it's like, you know me personally, I'm a big goofball, but like at work, I'm very serious. I enjoy it. I do like to help people. It's a very rewarding job, believe it or not. I'm also normal. There's plenty of weirdos in that industry.
Like, what do you mean?
I mean, you want to name names?
Those people.
No
names,
No
no names.
Those people stay in
just
the
some
house.
circumstances.
It's just people. So, like, again, it was a family business for me. Like, I could have went and did other things, but, like, it sounds corny, but, like, you feel a calling towards it. I also was always with my grandfather a lot, so, like, I always wanted to please, like, a people pleaser almost. So, you know, like, I guess you'd say I heard the calling for that. And I also have a great schedule with that, you know. So there's a lot of upside to it. And like I said, the main thing is I do like to help people through those hard times. I like the good old attaboy at the end, you know?
So you're like a wedding planner, but it's just sad,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's not always sad.
No, I get a lot of compliments. Like, so the biggest compliment you could say to me is like, you know, you were great. You really made things easier. Like when I hear that, I'm like, yes.
Yes.
That's what really, you know, that's what I'm looking for, you know, from any of our clients. Yeah. And then I, you know, years later, I went and bought a florist as if I didn't have enough to do. And then I went and bought a second florist. I sold the first florist, or I should say I consolidated the 2 florists into one. And
That's a common combo, though, funeral and florist.
no,
right?
I think this, as far as I know, there's only one other guy. Well, it's a common combo and like they work hand in hand. But as far as ownership, there's only one other funeral home that I know of that has a florist built
Great
in.
idea.
Yeah, I think the term I was using was lateral integration when I was trying to impress people.
Mortuary
Now
science.
you got to get a
Mortuary
tombstone business.
It's too much. I got enough to do.
I'm sure.
It's like, you gotta, what's that saying? Be careful what you wish for. Sometimes you actually get it.
Yeah,
Right.
You bite off more than you can chew. It's a real thing.
Now you said it's not always sad. What do you mean?
I mean, some people like if they have a tough go of it,
Feel like
and the whole like lifespan
Yeah,
versus
but
like
nobody's
health
never
span.
really elated about it.
Yeah,
But
some
you got
people.
somebody who's going through shit for
So
like
what?
multiple years.
You just
You
said
know?
some people.
Yeah, when you got a guy who's like 90 who's like slides in, right under the door and like has been solid the whole time. I mean, that's probably it's a hoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I have a different take on it, but when my wife's grandmother died at 99, I thought it would be a slide in, but it was tears all over the place.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
you're always
listen,
gonna have them.
99, that's how it's supposed to happen.
Yeah, that's champion.
That's a good run. So long as you're not, soiling yourself every day and you're a burden on your family. 99 is a great run, man. Honestly, like you can't complain about that. I mean, but we're seeing now more and more,
Younger?
up in age. Now, so we saw a lot of young people, maybe like pre-COVID and around COVID with the what's that drug?
Fentanyl.
The fentanyl. I mean, we were doing like 1 to 2 kids a month. And now when I say kids, I mean like
Teenagers, early 20s.
teenagers, 20s, maybe some 30s. It's rough. Like people don't really understand how that ruins a family dynamic.
Sure.
Like I don't want to make it too morbid, but like I could close my eyes and hear the parents' screams, and I could visualize the whole room how it was set up. It's just it's an insidious drug. It really is. And people don't even know they're taking it half the time. You see on the news all the time these cops accidentally touch it and then they're having a seizure on the floor, dying.
Yeah.
I had a fucking.
It ruins all the fun stuff.
I have it.
Somebody was telling
Not
me the other day.
recreationally.
Somebody was telling me the other day that their dogs like sniffed a bag of coke and died instantly.
Whoa.
Like just walking in the street.
No, like zoomies. He didn't get the zoomies real quick.
You didn't put a gold chain on and start like dancing to salsa music?
Why is that dog wearing an Adidas tracksuit?
One last go.
No, I'm telling you, really, I
Developed a
sniffed this
Spanish
thing down the
accent.
block. It was a really good thing. I want to show you. Come on, man. Let's go.
Dog's like,
Yeah.
Bobby bang.
Yeah.
no, that's. I mean, you feel like you only hear like a quarter of the stories of how that's ripping through people's
Oh
communities
yeah,
and shit.
dude. It's bad. There's nothing worse than the kids though. Like innocent kids. It gives me just raging anxiety for leading up to it, and then you're fucked up afterwards too for a while. You transpose your own feelings. Like that kid in your head, you visualize your kids.
Yeah, sure.
How
could you not?
It's terrible.
I'm sure you also have experienced some really hilarious things.
Yeah, we did a guy who was like a drug and rehab counselor. He got buried in beige khaki cargo shorts, a Hawaiian shirt, a lei, sunglasses, and there had to be 200 people relapsing all over the place. They were just boozing in the parking lot.
Really?
It was a grand old time.
That was like, this guy's finally gone. Let's
Yeah,
go in.
counselor is gone. Let's go.
Can't stop me now.
Holy shit!
Holy shit.
Yeah, you would impress me. Let me see you get up.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh my gosh.
That's extreme.
Yeah, I mean, the majority of them though are like 95+% are normal. Sad, but when you say someone's 99, like, dude, that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah,
It's
that's
when,
great.
It's when
Yeah.
some poor kid with leukemia dies. It's
Definitely.
like it makes you question everything.
Yeah,
We do those funerals for completely free of charge. It's just we got to help somehow.
I mean, that's got to change your whole week too when you have something like that. Like that has to affect you.
It gives you. I get like legit raging anxiety from it leading up to it. I don't want to do it. But then, like, at the same time, I know that no one's going to do it better than I do because I genuinely care about that. Like, I care about all of them, but, you turn it up when something like that happens. And like I said, we waive all the charges for the funeral home to the family. And even the aftermath of that is too. So for like a month after that, it's on my mind.
Yeah.
It's heavy. It really is. It's it makes you wonder.
And how long have you been doing it?
So I've literally been there my entire life. The junior high is backed up to it. You're all from Lindenhurst, so you know where the funeral home is?
Yep.
So the junior high is backed up to it. When I was a kid, I'm dating myself too. I was able to run, instead of getting on the bus, I'd run across the field, jump the fence, and I'd go clean the tables for like $5 an hour and hang out with my grandfather. I've been licensed. I've been working there since I'm 16. I'll be 40 in August. I have been licensed since 2007. But I've been there my entire life.
Wow. Like how many a year? How many funerals a year?
We do, on a busy year, probably like 135-ish. We tend to average like 110.
Wow.
You know, we're a small, medium-sized firm. I do want to grow, but like my thing is, we all the funerals, they're very expensive, and you deserve my undivided attention. So in one sense, I either want to do 150, that's like me at full tilt, or I want to do 1,500 and send my check to Isla Morada, please. You know, the grind to get to those, you know, next levels it's too much.
It's competitive.
It's not competitive so much as like it's people always go where they go. So
I was going to say, I feel like everybody always knows where they're going to go.
It's difficult to break that cycle, which is strange because like I'm going to accidentally shit on the Lindenhurst funeral homes.
It's all right.
They're not great. You know, the people that run them are very nice. Okay. Facility-wise, they're not great. You know, I'm half a town away in reality, and we have a 10,000 square foot building. You know, we do one funeral at a time on purpose. You have my cell phone number. If there's an issue, you call me. It gets handled. You meet with me, my sister, or my mother-in-law. It's a real family business.
It's interesting when you think about that. Like, most of the time, people go to the funeral home that's like near their home, like very near their home.
Yeah, we get now.
But is that out of convenience, or that's just because of like that's what you do?
So,
why not?
To every funeral home's credit, these funeral directors, they're kind of like woven into the society of that town. They do a lot. You may not realize it until you
just like networking,
nonstop donations and sponsorships. You know, they're usually, you know, at times have obviously changed. Big church members in the past. So guys like our age, we would never notice it because we don't have parents or brothers or sisters, hopefully, of the dying age. Once you start to meet those people, you start, oh, shit, that guy was over there too. He was over there doing this, doing that. And, you know, to almost every funeral home's credit, that's what it is. And you go there because it's convenient. But in certain cases, too, you want to have the ability to, why pay more for less if we can just drive a mile out of the way?
It seems there's an incredible marketing opportunity. The world might be waiting for a funeral director with a fucking, you know, cute face and a sense of humor.
What do you think up there, Meg?
She can't see you.
I actually can't see you.
That's right. That's right.
That's right. I did that on purpose.
Yeah, no, it seems to me like there's a real hole in the market for that.
Yeah,
because like if you think about it, funeral parlors don't fucking. Is that the word, Paula? Funeral parlor?
Funeral homes, funeral parlors. It's a very stuffy business.
Yeah,
it really
but
is.
It's very old though, because like there's not like
they're old. They're either family owned and operated like us, or they're like Boyd Spencer on Merrick Road. They're owned by a
right?
Yeah, a multi-billion-dollar, probably multi-million. They're in the hundreds of millions of dollars. You know, like
they're like in every state.
They're every state. There's Boyd Spencer, Boyd Caradizola. They own crematories. They own cemeteries. It's like, you know, you try to compete with that. It's impossible.
What's the one in West Babylon? It's on Montauk Highway.
Boyd Spencer. Yeah.
That's what my grandma was.
What was that place?
It was Boyd Funeral Home, owned by the Boyd family.
Wow.
They sold the business to SCI. The Boyds kept the property because it's enormous, and I think SCI is the parent company. They just bought that maybe a couple years ago from them. But it's a weird. The business is changing. The whole industry is changing. They're getting away from like these big, long, drawn out funerals, and people are going. The cemeteries are really what's, I don't want to say hurting the business, but like you go to the cemetery. My grandparents, they're in a drawer in the crypt. Their crypt was $40,000.
What?
Wait, did you just say my grandparents were in a drawer?
Yeah, like a mausoleum.
Yeah, mausoleum crypt. They're saying it's, you know, the looser term is a drawer.
In case they could
keep
come
them
back.
like in
my
your
fucking
kitchen.
office.
Yeah.
Keep your grandma in your
So
fucking spoon
these
drawer.
cemeteries are just, lack of better terms, murdering people on the price. So by the time you get done, like your average funeral's in the 20 to 30 range. If you
Oh
like,
my
you don't have
God.
anything. I just like we're in a middle class neighborhood. People
20
don't
to
have
30
that.
grand is an average.
That's the funeral home, the cemetery, the flowers. That's everything.
The
But
package.
that's like
that's the package one
that's
deal.
the general amount of money that
That's
the
a
average
fucking
person is going to
heart
pay.
attack
That's not like
That's so
that's
much
not the
money.
Cadillac.
No, that's so right. So like we're approximately 8,500 plus a casket, right? Some people around us are more, some people are less, some people are higher on caskets. We tend.
Now, what does that include? That includes
That's a traditional 1 day wake.
1 day.
Yeah,
Wake?
1 day is 2 days, 2 days is 3 days.
8,500 doesn't include put you in the ground.
It includes me taking you to be put into the ground. It doesn't include the cemetery opening fees.
The cemetery has a fee to put you in.
So not only do you buy a grave 25 years ago, and you're like, okay, grave's done, right? And then you die, and then they whack you again to open the grave.
So could we just pay you to bring the body to the cemetery and just go home?
No, no,
Just leave him
You
there.
have to have a wake.
Throw me off.
no. You don't have to have a wake.
Everybody
People are
wave.
getting away from that because of the high cost of everything. But everything is expensive.
Yeah.
What's not? Like, listen, I got a 10,000 square foot building. My property taxes are probably right around $50,000. So before you turn a light switch on, I got to pay.
Yeah.
Pay that. And it's not just me, it's every funeral.
Sure.
My competition, Boyd Spencer, right? They're on 5 acres. I can't even imagine what their property taxes are.
That's a crazy property that they have.
It is
Yeah.
crazy. It's very nice.
I tell my grandfather all the time, I'll leave it to you. Plop down next to this palace. What are you thinking?
It's like, did it come with?
I'm not
did it come with the
naive,
ducks
right?
and
Like
shit?
I drive past there and it's like, oh man, that place is nice.
Yeah.
The inside's a little dated, but what are you gonna do?
I feel like they're all dated.
Yeah.
Feels like you're walking back into time when the person who died was young.
Another opportunity.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
There's a big opportunity.
Yeah, but what are
in
you
your
going to do?
business.
You're not going to put neon lights in it and make it
No,
look,
you're gonna
look all
spend a
fun and
couple of
happy.
bucks. You're gonna make it
It's
look
like-
modern and airy and open and
Kind
light.
of good when the ground
I'll
creaks when
fucking
you're
design
walking
a
through
funeral
it.
home right now.
Yeah, it's like you said about you want like the crusty old white guy behind the plane.
Or do you want
I
to look
want
like
a creaky floor in my fucking funeral.
Yeah, dude.
you know, I want that smell.
What was that?
No, you want a funeral home that would be featured on Mood Board Meg. That's what you want.
Yeah, maybe.
How many people actually like
plants.
take care of all of it though? Like you said, like that's the thing is like you got to get the spot and all that stuff. But like,
So
do people like ahead of time take care of all of it? Can they do that?
Yeah. So pre-planning is like a big thing. Most of it is done. There's really two reasons people do it: peace of mind to know that okay, my stuff is done. My kids aren't going to get banged over the head when it's time to have to pay for all that. And then other people do it for like a Medicaid spend down. So somebody in your family is really sick and they have too much assets, too many assets. And they have to get under a certain number to qualify for that. So they come and they pre-plan the funeral. The problem I have is it sounds real like gimmicky, is the funeral is the only thing the government cannot tell you can't spend that much. So you could spend $2,000 or you could spend $200,000. Nobody can say a word about it. So it's hard to relay that without sounding like, was anybody a used car salesman here?
No.
A used car salesman. It's like you can spend the money on yours. You can then pay for your immediate next of kins. So if it's like you're doing it for a wife, you pay for hers. You could pay for yourself, being the husband, and the children. And it's like, why let the government take that money? That's ridiculous. You worked your whole life. You were taxed on it already. Take care of your family. Don't let them just take it.
That's a marketing.
That's
opportunity
package
right
deal
there.
4.
Yeah.
That's a big
It's a
package
lot of
deal.
opportunity. Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
You pay for your
thinking
lot
about making
yet,
you an
Jesse?
offer to get in the game with you.
You pay for your lot?
No, but you got to do that, right? You got.
If you want to be buried or put into, if you want to be entombed in the wall, as I said, you want to pay for that sooner than later. They're running out of space, and it's just simple supply and
I'm
demand.
hoping that by the time it's our time, we're gonna go right in. They're gonna take the disk out of the fucking.
Oh, plug you right into the
Go right
computer.
into the hard drive.
Yeah.
That's
You
what
wanna
I'm
be burned, right?
hoping.
Bro, one day I'm just gonna take my clothes off and walk into the woods.
I'm hoping my consciousness.
You scare the
lives
shit out of
forever.
a bunch of Boy Scouts by accident.
In June, probably.
Well, then it'll be okay.
with rainbow shorts.
Oh my God! Look, guys, it's a bear.
Just wrinkly old balls, just walking through the woods.
Meg, what do you want to do? You want to be burned?
Meg's
Buried?
Meg's frozen.
Oh, she's.
Oh, I was about to ask that. What do you feel like? Am I?
No, you're good.
Not anymore.
It's fun when you are.
Okay.
How do you
I
wanna
was
go?
going to ask, what do you see in terms of cremation versus people wanting to be buried?
I
want
gotta
to
be honest. I think they
cremated,
all
I
suck.
Yeah.
There's no good way to go, Meg. That's the truth.
No,
of the
well,
matter.
what do you see one more or the other?
Yeah, there's
what's-
definitely been a rise in cremation.
Interesting.
So we're in like a West Babylon's like an old school, maybe not so much, but it used to be like an old school Italian town, and like there was probably at one point 90-10 in favor of burials. Now we're probably 60-40 in favor of burials still, but a dramatic increase in cremation. I'll tell you,
Interesting.
nobody's got the money to pay for the funeral, and then on top of it, they're getting banged over the head for another $5,000+ for like a cheap grave. There's small cemeteries, but people don't want to go to a small cemetery. They're not as well kept. Like a Pine Lawn Memorial Park, which is now an arboretum, which is probably just another tax saving thing. The place, it's love it or hate it, it's
They
beautiful.
turned it into an arboretum.
Yeah,
That's
you go
clever.
take a ride through there. It is picturesque.
That's where my mom's at.
Trees are perfect. Lawn's always cut. St. Charles is number 2 to that. And then you go into these more like, smaller rural cemeteries. What's the one by McDonald's over there?
Oh,
The one that took over Niagara?
Breslau?
Yeah. Breslau.
Is that Breslau?
Yeah, Breslau, North Babylon. They're small. They're very affordable. It's not the same, though.
Jamming in there.
You're not paying monthly for that stuff, right?
So, you pay in the beginning, you pay what's called perpetual care, which... So
for the
I don't know
bushes
this.
around me?
What do you
When I'm
mean?
in the ground? Is that what you're
Oh
saying?
no, that's something.
Oh.
Perpetual care is like so they keep cutting the lawn. Perpetual care is put in.
HOAs.
I don't know this to be 100%. I'm a bit pontificating when I say this, but I'm assuming when they do the perpetual care, it goes into some sort of interest bearing account, and that perpetually pays for the care of the grounds.
Damn, fucking scam.
It's a scam. It's a super
Yeah, it's a
scam.
Ponzi scam.
It's a super
You
scam.
want to get in early. It's
Bro, we
cheap.
got a fucking great landscaper out here. It's $150 a week. Let's get him in there.
You pay that much? I get my guy for like $25.
Well, a lot of you don't think about fucking that stuff.
No, and who wants to? Look, I get it, right? Just it's simple. Live forever. The question is if you could live forever, would you want to?
Yes.
You think so? Everybody
As
you
long as I'm
ever
not
met.
shitting, just like you said before.
Wait, all
as
right.
long
So
as I'm not
that's a
shitting
big
myself.
question.
That's serious.
Like-
Think about this.
like you
Everybody,
alone?
you alone. Everybody you ever meet's gonna die, and you just gotta.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. I'll go to their funerals.
What about you, Meg?
I don't think so. I don't
think so either. I think
Right
once,
now,
like,
I don't think so.
you have to say goodbye to your kids, your wife, or your
Yeah.
husband. Yeah,
Well, I mean, that's my superhero curse. I'll just have to
that's my
deal
cross
with
I have to
saying
bear.
bye to everybody.
I'm 50-50. I could see giving it a shot.
Listen,
but
I
could also
don't.
see.
Listen, I get it. I don't want to die either, but I don't know. Living without your kids is like once you get them, it's
You just
like
keep having more kids.
that's true. Good. You know what?
That's true. If you know you're not
Touche,
gonna die.
Jesse.
Yeah, what body do you live in? Like, can I live in my 27-year-old body
You can
the full
choose?
time?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, if you're not wrinkly and
Yeah. What are the rules? Can you choose? Like you can choose where you want to be.
All right, so let's how old? What's the average age in here? Everybody's like around 40.
40, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's do
She
30.
brings us down to somewhere in the mid-30s.
yeah,
So let's do
mid-30s.
on behalf of the lady, let's do 35,
35.
which is a good age. That's where
Well,
everything
she
was
doesn't know.
stable.
She's not going to know how to make that call because she's never been 35 yet. I would make that call.
What, to
35?
stay 35?
I think 35
forever?
was
Yeah.
like my best age.
It's a no-brainer.
I think any time up to 50, I'd be good with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe even into my 50s. I
I'd
plan
sign
on
for-
getting it tighter.
I'd sign for now. Maybe with like 2 years ago's hair. I got a little less hair.
Yeah.
2 years ago.
No, it's like hair today, gone tomorrow.
2 years?
I noticed now at 40, I can't get up or sit down without making a noise. Every time I get
embarrassing. The cracks are crazy. They
Yeah.
just keep coming.
my ankles crack. Every time I take a step, it's like.
You fit
could
right
never-
in here. You fit right in.
I could never
You and this guy,
sneak
you
up
guys
on
can talk
somebody.
all day long.
You don't crack?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe, but not.
Oh no, he does jujitsu, dude.
No, that's true. Fit. Physically fit.
Yeah.
What's like the day to day? Like
For me, I play a lot of golf.
Okay. Like what's like? I'm trying to dig
Well, you
into
said you had a stressful day today. You
So
buried
the
a few
funeral,
people.
yeah, well, I
like
was
the
because of the florist.
science. I'm hung up on that fucking word science.
So
for
I
the
had to
school?
learn a lot. I had to learn a lot of chemistry. I had to learn anatomy, physiology.
You drain the blood at your place?
Yeah, I've been known to.
It's a weird question, but I know that it happens.
That's what I'm saying. These are the questions I want to know.
You're asking about embalming. So, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't do it nearly as much as I did. I have people that work for me.
Right.
So, but yeah, every now and then I get in there and I show them the kids still got it.
You ever seen
How does that even work? Like,
So
without getting.
It's a big straw.
I mean, the long and short of it is like you set the features, right? Which means, like Heath Ledger said, we're going to put a smile on that face, right? So
Wait, what do you mean? Whoa. How we setting the features?
you really want to know the details, huh?
Like,
Yes.
you're just.
So I take what's called
First of all, do you touch the do you put the body in the
no,
in
I
the
do
casket?
it all like by mind.
Yeah, what do you mean? Do
As
you
a
touch
Jedi.
the body?
Do you-
How else are you going to do it?
Have you? What do
Not
you do?
with your
Do you
bare
take
hands.
do you take the hands and somebody takes the legs? Like, how do we get them in the
This is
casket?
trade secrets, Kurt.
I gotta know some
You
of
gotta
it.
die to do that, dude. You gotta die to know those. No, so the embalm, you set the features, right? You do that with, like, you've heard people say they're gonna suture your mouth shut. That's literally what happens. So you go in underneath here, up through the philtrum, down through here, you tie a knot, you build out the whole mouth so it looks nice. Nobody dies like this, right? Everybody dies like a fucking
Oh, my
like an
gosh.
S cookie. Then from there, after you get done with that, you would inject your embalming fluid through the artery, and you would drain through the corresponding vein.
Jesse might pass out. Keep on going.
Yeah, you
Jesse,
good? Yeah.
So far.
What was the safe word? What was the safe word?
just keep on talking about blood.
Main vein. You just say main vein?
Same vein. You would
Same vein. Main vein is different.
He's hearing you like main vein.
First we drain the main vein.
Guys, is it smoky in here? Or
All
is
right,
it just
keep going,
me?
keep going.
So so then you literally drain the blood out, and it goes right into your drinking water, and then from there, you one of the more violent processes of it is you break up the viscera with a it's an 18-inch. There's no other easy way to say it. It's an 18-inch metal rod, and you get in there.
To get everything out.
You break all the viscera up. You take out if there's any pleural fluid, which is from the lungs. You take out any remaining fluid from the heart.
Now, what's the reason for this? So we don't smell when you're praying over us?
Yeah, no, we restore lifelike. We restore lifelike.
So you
appearance.
suck. You're pulling guts out.
Yeah. For a less scientific term.
Got it. The
Yeah.
viscera.
Yeah.
Innards.
Because one of the worst things I hate when you go to not
Oh,
to
boy,
complain.
this is gonna be good.
One of the worst things I hate is every time you go up there to pray, somebody next to you always says she looks great.
That's this guy's
Most of the
that's him.
I
time,
mean, I gotta ask though, why would you hate that?
because they don't look great.
They're like dead.
You gotta stop
It's
going
scary.
to those. You gotta come
going to Boyd
right
Spencer.
across 109, dude.
I mean, apparently you need to go to more funerals at his
Yeah,
place.
stay away from that Boyd Spencer, dude.
I say you leave the blood in.
Nah, you don't want that. So when you die, listen, you got like, let's say, I'm definitely making these numbers up. They're not 100% accurate, but the statement is kind of true. You probably have like, I don't know, 10,000, maybe even more different types of good bacteria in your body.
Okay.
Part of your natural flora, defense
the science
mechanisms,
right here.
Yeah,
and stuff
yeah.
like that. When you die, you could put a 0 on the end of every hour you're dead of that good bacteria turns into bad bacteria. And that's when you start to decay, putrefaction occurs, and all sorts of gross shit.
That quick.
Yeah, well, as soon as you die, there's no more, they're hungry, those little fuckers.
Oh my god.
Yeah, your fucking immune system's not fighting that shit off anymore, right?
Yeah.
Yikes. That's gross.
Yeah, all in all, you're just another brick in the wall.
What's the oldest body that ever came in your door? Like it was dead too long.
Oh, I got one now, dude. Oof, gross. Died back in I want to say the beginning of May.
No, are you serious?
Yeah, it's just single woman. No offense, Meg.
Oh, she
Meg's
ain't
not
single.
single.
She ain't
No,
single.
She's wifed.
Oh, are you?
I know you tried to make a Boston joke too. I'm like, I'm from Long Island.
I know. Well,
Here,
what
so
are you doing up there?
You're
then?
hitting everybody wrong. You're miscategorizing
Yeah.
the cross player.
I know. Who would have thought that though? You guys had to
Dealing
see
with
what I was.
fucking dead people.
Really
all
not
the time.
reading
What does
alone
he
a
know?
lot.
Jesse,
Let him
I'm by
talk to
myself
somebody.
a lot. I'm alone all the time, dude. I'm desperate for conversation.
This guy's sitting over a dead body. Like, were you a lacrosse player?
Yeah.
You a lacrosse
You
player?
were telling me the first thought you thought was athlete?
Not a chance. I was athlete.
Where were we?
Beginning of May.
Beginning of May, yeah. She was a single lady. The brother said he had cold, didn't answer. A couple days went by, and she was probably deceased for like 2-ish weeks.
Yikes.
Yeah.
But you guys don't go and get them, right?
Oh God, no.
But some funeral homes do that.
So we go get them, but in an instance like that, the medical examiner's getting called. They're getting brought to the medical examiner's office. They're being autopsied. In this case, this woman had to be swabbed for DNA to prove that it was her. So, that's never a good sign.
Interesting.
That's sad.
Yeah.
It's gross.
It is gross. Even for us. I mean, I like to think I've seen it all, and every now and then something surprises me.
You've seen a lot more
Yeah.
than I've seen, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But the funeral, like, I don't know what the term is correctly, but like, you don't go and like someone's dead, you go and pick them up
Yeah, all the
from
time.
their home or
If
like.
so, like a 99-year-old person who, passed away, what happens is the family finds them, or if they're sick, they're in hospice. Let's say you find the person, you call 911, 911 comes,
They're dead.
They're dead. They then call the doctor. If the doctor is willing to sign the death certificate, then we get the phone call to come pick them up. If not, that's when the medical examiner gets involved. Usually there is some sort of suspicion around the death. 9 out of 10 times, it's nothing, but a doctor's not willing to sign the death certificate, and they want to know why somebody passed away, rightfully so.
For science.
Yeah, for science.
Science.
And
At the funeral house.
Is it literally like a death certificate? Like
It's
there?
literally a death certificate. Yep.
Is it digital? Is it on an iPad?
Until you print it, but it's like your birth certificate. It's
Okay.
got the raised seal and everything. It's got all your vital statistics on it.
Somebody's got to stamp it.
Someone's got to stamp it. You got to pay the government for it.
A lot of stuff.
How do you-
Another
you gotta
$10
be a
bucks.
doctor. I was gonna say, how do you get that job? But you got to be the doctor.
Yeah, medical school.
A lot of school, a lot of tuition.
Yeah.
What's like the heaviest person you've ever had to?
I had a guy snap my lift on me, and that thing holds like probably 800 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Do you sue them for that?
No. You generally just don't talk about it on a podcast.
That's why we ask the hard-hitting questions here.
Yeah, no. Luckily for me, so what I always try to do, my grandfather told me, is this: it's literally like canvas straps you put underneath them, and it goes to I don't even know, an arm that's hooked up to a hydraulic lift. So what I always like to do was, again, I was taught this way: is you pump the hydraulic lift, the person comes up, you do it over the table. And you make sure everything is still. So when the lift broke, the person just went back
Right
down onto the table.
But did it break the machine or it just broke the straps?
It broke the machine, the actual arm itself. Yeah. So I mean, that could just be from wear and tear over the years, but it was a lot of
Definitely not
person.
from that.
It was a lot of person.
What the fuck does the casket like that look like?
As wide as this doorway.
Wow.
Yeah, so they have extra large caskets, 1X. So like I'm 6'1", so I make it anything over that, you have to go into a larger casket.
Extra G.
Extra pallbearers too.
Extra pallbearers
Pay
is
for
right.
those.
Dude.
Need 2 extra.
Yeah.
The back end.
Dude, the dead weight thing is legit. With light people, like you were asking me before, I just
Oh, I thought you was
scoop
gonna say
them
like
up.
people like you.
No, jeez.
You pointed.
Disgruntled because of his birthday month.
Seriously.
No, but like, normal sized people, we just scoop them right up and put them in the casket.
No, you don't.
Swear to God.
Like bear hug them.
So I do like what's
Like
the
a
term in
fireman's
wrestling?
carry?
Like a high crotch.
Yeah.
You know?
That's a wrestling term.
I would ask for assistance.
Yeah, I
You
do.
wouldn't
My
be
poor
there.
sister. Dude, my poor sister. All the time I'm like, Christina, let's go. I'm ready.
Oh.
And I'm like, get the legs. It's just like out of a movie.
Has anybody like jumped in the casket after that person? Like, trying to get in there? Yeah.
All the time, people are always doing stupid stuff at
Yeah.
funerals. Yeah. We did. I've every now and then I have to play linebacker at the cemetery.
There's things I want to ask.
It's not too bad, but
You ever get like drunk widowers like
That's
coming on
exactly
to
what
you?
I wanted to ask.
Yeah? That was the question?
Yeah, I said there's things I want to ask, but I don't want to ask them.
I think you should ask them.
No, they're generally up in age.
So
that I'm
funeral's
interested
not
in.
the place.
I'm not saying you coming on to them, and them coming on to you.
Oh, I mean, look, a face like this. I mean,
Just looking for a discount.
everybody thinks they look at me, they see the building, they think I'm loaded. It's just I'm like a normal guy.
Just gonna carry your dead grandma.
I actually married my secretary's daughter. I met her on a funeral. Truth be told, which is
Really?
super weird. Yeah, so I went.
I mean, you got a lot of access to meet people.
I don't think
Yeah.
it's that weird.
I mean, a guy who's got a funeral home does not need
Well,
Tinder.
it is because you don't shit where you eat, right?
Yeah, and how do you approach
she's-
that situation?
yeah, I guess you're true. That's true.
So I didn't know who she was. To be fair, it's gonna sound a little corny, but whatever. So this woman, Jackie, she worked for me for years. Great lady. I would always hear stories about her. I never even knew what she looked like, right? She would always brag about her daughter, and oh, that's great, you know. And I had broken up with this girl I was seeing we actually lived together. I was in downtown Brooklyn, and came back home. Was working. I was doing a funeral. It was in the middle of the summer. It was late. I was late coming out of church, and there was a baptism. So like it was like out of the movies. The doors opened, like the pigeons moved, the smoke cleared, and there was this pretty girl in the back wearing a yellow sundress. And we made good eye contact. But despite what you may think, Meg, I'm the consummate professional. I kept it cool, right? I didn't say anything. Then I saw my secretary at the time, Jackie. She's like, "Oh, let me introduce you to my daughter." And it was her. It was
Whoa.
the same person.
Same person.
And I was like, "Oh shit."
That's a movie.
Yeah.
That's
Are you telling us the theme of a movie, right? Story of a
It
movie
could
right
be.
now?
Yeah,
I got
that's
a movie.
cute.
I got a good pitch for a movie. I don't even know if I should say it actually, but so
don't
anyway,
say- don't
long
say it.
story
We'll
short, we started talking a little bit. I was looking for an apartment because I was too old to be living at home, and she was doing like real estate on the side. She's also a school psychologist, so I had like this horrendous long. I've never had game ever. I just cheese bowl. I had this long, drawn out, like Shakespearean, dearest Joanna, like
Text
it
me.
was a pleasure to meeteth you. I'm with my best friend, who's a total ladies' man dirtbag, right? Love him. Take a bullet for him. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "What do you think?" And he was like, "I'm embarrassed for you." He erased the whole thing and just wrote hi.
That worked.
I swear to God. That's great. Yeah. And then, and the rest is history. 3 kids going on. This is our 10th year married.
Wow, nice.
An in-ground pool.
An in-ground pool, brand new house. You know?
That's awesome.
Yeah. Not the house is brand new to us. It's not a new construction.
Living the best life.
Yeah, trying. Although I do have 3 stomach ulcers from all the stress. In long and short, when I drop dead, her boyfriend's gonna think I'm like the man.
He's gonna be good. He's gonna be.
He's gonna be living his best life, dude.
Yeah.
I gave myself. I was talking to you about it not too long ago. All of a sudden I got raging heartburn out of nowhere, and it was like I thought I was dying. I'm like something's not right. Like I'm having a heart attack, and I'm a total hypochondriac too. So like
too.
I worked it up all the way to like this is it.
Stomach cancer. It's over.
And and then stomach cancer, everything, the whole 9. Dude. I was literally I was getting the scope. I was on the table. I was like, I had to take a Xanax just to get through the door. Oh, so it's so embarrassing. I used to be cool. I swear to God.
I have the same problem. I can't get blood taken.
Oh yeah, dude.
I can't get blood taken. I freak out.
I used to be cool. Now I'm just like, is there parking?
It's a control freak thing, I think.
I guess.
I think it is.
I
Like,
also
on a
have
deep
like a
level.
real good grip of like how easy it is to die. And I think
Yeah.
over the years that's really like sunken
Yeah.
in.
What do you mean?
Sure.
I'll give you an example. I didn't ski till I was about 21. My shitty friends take me to Hunter. They're like, "Yeah, dude, there's green circles at the top of the mountain. Don't worry." There's not. So like you look off the side of the mountain, I'll be fine. 21, like,
Right. You have no idea what you're doing.
But I had no idea what I was doing. But I was like legit scared, looking off the side of this mountain, going, "I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die." And it's just car accident, stupid shit. Like
Right.
in reality, as much as we like to, even us as humans, we think we're in control. Like,
No.
it's just organized chaos.
Yeah.
Is really what it is. You know,
Yeah.
guys survive shootings, get bit by bugs, and die.
Yeah.
True.
Look at 50. Shot 9 times.
A lot of people shot in
West Bab?
funerals.
I've seen a handful.
Not in West Bab, I know that.
I've seen a bunch of shootings.
Home is, man.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of
Yeah,
shootings.
but I mean, people got it. I guess you're right. They just come from West Babylon, right? That's what
For
we
the
were
most
talking about
part, probably,
earlier.
right?
Okay.
Yeah, a good amount from what we get. I mean, most of the shootings come from that other.
You're not getting people from Jamaica, Queens to go get buried there.
No,
no.
no. Most of the shootings they come from like Wheatley Heights,
Yeah.
Right.
shitty areas over there.
Closed
But they're wild.
caskets.
No, dude, we go open.
What's the decision with closed caskets and
I'm
open
an
caskets?
artist. I'm not kidding. So we had a guy shot himself in the head. God rest
You're
his
the
soul.
artist, or someone you pay for is the artist?
No, me.
Yeah?
I'm the guy. Yeah.
That's like your job.
That's my job. I put them back together again.
So you're like as close as that microphone is. That's where your face is to like
No, I
a
mean,
dead
that's a
body,
little
right?
close.
That's too close.
No, I mean-
Even when you're putting it up their nose.
Yeah. So no, I had a guy who shot himself in the head, and the
so
exit
weird.
wound is always bigger than the entrance wound.
Interesting.
In this instance, the exit wound was on the non-show side. So we repaired the wound. And we fill it with what's called wound filler. And it's basically just like a heavy-duty wax. From there, you cosmetize the wax. And then what I did was I took a makeup brush. He had black hair, so I took a makeup brush. Because what happens is the stippling, I think it's called, from the actual firing of the weapon, burns all the hair. And then by the time they do the autopsy, they shave it a little bit, wax it over. I heat the wax up a little bit. I take the makeup brush and we cut it to the approximate length. And one by one, I stuck each hair in. 4 hours later, they did an open casket and they kept it open.
Wow.
Do you do like wedding makeup on the side too?
Yeah, I got the I can't fuck it. What's it called? The airbrush.
It could be like a side hustle for you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, literally.
The
no,
religious part of it is interesting. Like you see less people like less
Yes.
religion
Far less.
involved in it.
They just don't want to be. I think people don't want to be bothered with the pomp and circumstance. A lot of people I notice are very impatient. They want to get it done.
Sure.
And I think that also listen, a lot of people got turned off by the church, right?
Yeah.
Rightfully so. So I have a very cool I don't say rotation, but I have a priest who's awesome that I call in and do the service at the funeral home, and I have a deacon who's a retired NYPD lieutenant. It's just one of the guys, shooting the shit, and he just happens to be, a deacon.
Yeah.
Comes in, does a service, and, everybody's always happy with him.
I had a terrible priest at my mother's wedding. Terrible.
I always try to get out
guy-
right before
At
the
what?
priest comes in.
At my mother's. I said my mother's wedding.
You did, yeah.
I'm at my mother's funeral. He was like a born again Christian kind of guy, and he was like evangelizing to everybody.
Oh, yeah.
He was trying to say she believed in God, and you should too, and if you're not, and I'm like, is this motherfucker really like trying to
don't they
convert
talk-
right
don't
now?
they
talk
Like
to you?
I almost like out of respect for the situation, because obviously it was but I almost had to come up and be like, bruh.
Right.
You need to shut the fuck up and just fucking stick to the fucking.
I had a guy carry a priest out of my chapel by his neck. He was I can't remember his name. He was from Our Lady Grace. The guy was like just a refrigerator of a human being, a total like buffoon. He was probably like 6'6", 350, fat but like solid fat. And I'll never forget. I was on the phone. I know you have no idea what I'm talking about, but like my office overlooks the lobby, and then there's a hallway to where the chapels go, and there's two cutouts. I'm on the phone with my mother, and all I see is two little feet going backwards. And I see this guy just carried him out by his neck. And I was like, Ma, I got to call you back. I'm going, what are you doing? And he's like, F this guy. He's asking me, was my brother a good brother? Did he pay his taxes? Did he go to church? Again, the guy was a bit much, kind of a do-to-do. But, you turn people off when you do that. Like, stick to the script, man.
Yeah.
for sure.
I always thought they talked to the people.
Well, that's what he's saying.
Well, they
That's
do,
what they
but
were.
like, when you when you talk condescending to people,
Yeah, when you
it's
get
like a big turn.
judgmental and like hoity-toity about religion, that's such a terrible thing to do.
You're also in like a heightened sense of everything with that, and like, believe it or not, happens a lot. Like when it's like a dog with a bone. Like you grab onto that one thing, and it's like, no, fuck that. Like I'm gonna fix this. You're upset, It's very natural to
Gotta be gentle.
lash out at something that you otherwise wouldn't care about. My son had his communion not too long ago, and in the middle of the communion mass, the priest is going, "We're in the red. You need to give more money." And I'm like, doesn't seem like the time or the place,
Really?
dude. Yeah,
No.
yeah.
Really?
When we went to get my daughter baptized, my wife went to the church, and the priest asked, Why did you name your kid Delilah? Because it's a whore in the Bible. She's a whore in the Bible.
Oh,
that
Jesus.
almost
She's
made
like
me-
one of the most famous whores
right.
ever
So
lived.
she came home with that to me, and he's like, "Yeah, he was really,
Obviously, you don't know Savannah.
He was really questioning me and why, and we were like, we just like the name. It's a nice name, but that almost.
Did
made
you
me
guys know
flip
that?
out. I didn't know that. I knew Black Delilah. I knew like the movie.
Black Dahlia?
Black Dahlia?
Black Dahlia.
Did you
Right,
misname
right.
your kid?
Yeah.
Actually, when she brought it up,
So
to
the
me,
answer is no.
I have
You
so
did-
many kids. I didn't have to name them.
The
all.
answer is no. You did not know that Delilah is.
No, I didn't know that she
Got it.
was a whore in the Bible.
But why would he
I
say
believe the
that?
French
Why
refer
would
to
he
it
say
as
that?
hua.
Is the point? The point is,
Yeah,
why would you question?
He actually said, like,
He literally said, "Why did you name your daughter that? It's not a nice name. It wasn't a great person in the Bible."
That's a crazy.
Yeah, you
thing
should have
to
been like,
say.
well, we were going with Lucifer, so we decided that.
I mean, I wasn't there, but I was almost like, "All right, we don't have to go to this church. We'll just go somewhere else. That's fine."
It's crazy. And they say, dude, so you're one story, I'm another story, he's another story.
Right.
Right?
There's
There's,
a lot of stories.
I don't fuck around
yeah,
with church.
guilty is charged with the stories.
I was
That's-
at one wake recently where for 10 minutes they called the guy by the wrong name.
Oh,
He was like a
God.
decorated detective. There was all cops there. I was like on the fringes of it as a friend of mine, and like for 10 minutes, and the kid had to go up there and be like, "That's not his name."
Yeah, I mean, listen,
Yeah.
I'm not sticking up or shitting on the guy, but like, we all make mistakes, you know?
It's a long time.
It's a very stuffy business, though. Like, it's very conservative, walk the line. So I do my best to,
Lighten it up.
no, yes and no. Like, I try to put the fun in funeral.
Yeah. You got to read the room.
That's
you know? Like,
yeah,
that's what you got to be the best at.
Yeah.
Title.
So my last name is Gilmor. So, you know, I'm stealing this from another guy that used it. And I was like, that's pretty good. And I was like, when you got to go Gilmor. I try to make it a celebration of life without making it a party. Because it's just so naturally said, right?
You got to be sensitive, but also like I feel like trying to lighten it up is a smart thing to do.
So we brushed over it, but what you said 1 minute ago is the absolute truth. Like, you got to read a room.
Yeah.
If you can't read the room, you're dead in the water. Like, you know, some people want to laugh, some people just want to be done with it, some people, you know, don't want to talk.
Some
and you
people
got
are
to
flinging
pull the
themselves
info.
into the fucking casket.
Yeah, some people are throwing themselves on, you know, onto the person. All of it is all normal reaction.
Yeah, sure.
There's no prescribed way to act when you lose somebody. This is just the bottom line.
Yeah, and you don't, the first time it happens, you don't know how you're going to react until it
Yeah,
happens.
dude. Even when my grandfather died, like, I had like a real moment of like, I don't want to say craziness, but like, so he was like the patriarch of our family. And when he died, I inherited the business along with all its responsibilities. I had just gotten married. I had my twins at that point. So I have 3 kids. One's 8 now. The other 2 are 5. And like the weight of the world was on my shoulders. I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't, eating. I had to go on mood stabilizers. And then when I was on the mood stabilizers, everything was just even. You're not happy. You're not sad. Nothing's funny. I would laugh at things because I knew it used to be funny to me. And then I was like, I got to get off of these things. Like, this is ridiculous.
There was really no feeling there.
No, you're even. But some people really need that. I needed that in that moment to snap out of it. I'll never forget, I was kicking a soccer ball around my son in the backyard, and I'm like, this is ridiculous that I feel this way. Like, we have a generational business. Like, we're not in trouble. Like, I've been working under my grandfather my whole life. Why should I feel this way? This is ridiculous. And I remember snapping out of it, right? I'm like, you have a successful family business. You got 3 healthy kids. You got a wonderful wife who is like, she may not realize it, but is the rock of our family. And, without her, I can't go out and, do the networking, come to podcasts, play golf 2-3 times a week, whatever.
2 to 3
Podcast.
Jesus.
Go to networking luncheons.
Yeah, lots of lunches.
A lot of business meetings.
Yeah, like you can't do any of that. And then, like I said, one day I just snapped out of it. Here's the funny part. You can't just come off mood stabilizers. You have to wean off, right?
Interesting.
I didn't know that. I'm just like regular guy. Fuck this, I'm not taking these anymore. You get what's called brain shocks. What? You just be sitting here all saying, what the fuck was that?
Oh, Jesse gets them all the time.
I'm not on anything.
So that was wild. And then, like, there's just, you manage your stress. I ballooned up to like 270, maybe even more. Once I came off that, I started working out. I started feeling like myself again. I still got plenty of weight to lose, but
But what happened? You got your grandfather died. You got so depressed, and it just brought you
it wasn't
to like
even
a
depression.
crazy
It
down.
was just anxiety. I'm gonna fail. That snowballed
Lot of
into
pressure.
God.
weeks later, months later. I'm down the road. I'm homeless.
Well, 'cause it was
my kids
sudden.
are
It
living in
wasn't
another
like,
guy's
this
house.
wasn't a transition that was taking place. It was sudden.
So he,
in terms of you taking responsibility for everything.
yes, but he was always there, right? So
Yeah.
like safety, like a life jacket.
Yeah.
And then once the training wheels are off, man,
Sure.
it's, you know,
Yep.
it's on you.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's you know, look, you're in business. It's terrifying.
Oh,
The
yeah.
highs are highs.
I should probably be on mood stabilizers.
The
too.
highs, the lows
You're
are
not?
low. It's a trip. I mean, I don't think I would change it. I like my Breeza schedule is very good. I make all my kids' games. I coach their sports. You know, like in reality, like what's important to you, right?
Well, the criteria, I think, is the perks are amazing, but you have to be able to deal with that emotional
Everyday
roller
stress.
coaster of like, you know, things are not set. You're gonna get hit with things that are gonna make you want to go on mood stabilizers.
Yeah.
And that's just you got to have that the emotional fortitude. I think that is like if you don't have that, then you know the perks are not worth it. You can't. It's not for you.
Right. If you can't deal with putting out fires day in and day out, but like chasing new accounts, right? Like
Yeah,
that excitement, all like the good definitely outweighs the bad, right?
Sure.
You know, and if you're doing something, not to sound like every corny high school teacher ever, if you're doing something you really like, you know, like is it really work?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So like I look at like I go from two different ends. I go from this funeral home where I'm the alpha, the omega, everything in between, right? Unquestioned. What I say goes, and I'm not like I'm not trying to make myself out to be like a drill sergeant or anything like that. I'm not. Then I go to the florist. And it's difficult, man. Like that believe it or not, the florist is way harder than the funeral home. It's just
Interesting.
you know,
Is it because you don't know it as well?
definitely because I don't know it as well. Also because I rely on a lot of people to do that because this is my bread and butter over here. And when I have to go, I have to go. So I have to stay, you know, fully staffed and just managing personalities. I've learned is
What's the hardest part?
impossible in reality. You know, everybody's got an opinion, and I have a good group. It's just, I just think I feel like every business owner runs into the same wall. It's by far my biggest challenge that I have.
Well, cultivating the right crew of people is a tricky and takes a lot of time, and because you gotta provide people value. You gotta like, you know, at the end of the day, I think that's like step one. Step one, you have to look at it like, I need to provide people with so if you want stars and you want A players, like, do you have an environment in which you are making it good for those people? And that's like step one.
Right, and then you got to pay them,
Yep.
and they deserve.
And then you have to cultivate, you know, is the relationship, is the mental, the personality of the person, you know, because even if you're an A player but you're a fucking asshole,
right,
you're not really an A player.
which I've definitely run into that.
Yep.
You know, I've had the problem is I rely on people for that. So like I've had people stealing from me.
Sure.
And like I said, so I had the one business in Wantagh, right? I had one guy stealing from me. Another girl, I can't prove it. I'm pretty sure she was stealing from me. When I consolidated those two business, it was like the weight of the world off my shoulders. Because in my Massapequa store, I have a good crew. I have a manager who's certifiably crazy in a good way. She watches everything that goes out. She's for me. My assistant manager is also the same way. And then the employees there are much better than the other store. The other store, I mean, every day I was like this. Yeah. You know, I was like, they're going to find me on the floor, just gripping my chest.
That's where the ulcers came from.
And the ulcers came from the pool, I think, honestly.
So you got something to look forward to.
Yeah.
Those are super expensive.
So much money. And I'm super happy with the guy who did it, but like.
You getting everything? You getting the heater? You getting?
So I got the heater.
Everybody gets the heater.
I did the heater. I did the
didn't get the
saltwater
heater.
pool. I did the plumbing myself. Like I said, that was the issue I had. So my father would own the oil companies, so we did that, and then had to wait for the permit, which we should have put the permit in, did the work, and timed it up right. But I did a pavilion. I did a ton of bricks. Like I said, dude, my wife's
Backyard
boyfriend's
masters.
gonna love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
What are you? You're Italian?
Half Italian and German.
No grass in the backyard.
No, I got grass, but I also have fire bowls too. So I got this wall.
You got fucking lions in the
Dude,
front? What do you got?
The lions
live
in the
ones,
front.
dude.
Wait, but no grass in the backyard is such an Italian thing,
100%
right?
is.
It is.
Yeah,
That's funny.
Italian grass is concrete. But I got these. I got this. So it's a wall with 3 water. Like I think they call them scuppers. They're like little waterfalls. But then they go up a little bit more to these other water bowls that fire comes out of. So it's gonna look like a Metallica concert.
Jesus. It's like fucking Cirque du Soleil in your
Fire
backyard.
in your backyard.
Fireballs, yeah.
You gotta control that.
People dying. It's good work.
Well, I mean,
If you can get it.
Businesses are booming.
up to,
But
'cause
you
of
guys
COVID.
want to hear interesting though? So the whole industry is in a downturn right now
Interesting.
because of COVID.
Ah.
So
Meaning it spiked and everybody got used to that spike.
an abnormality, a singularity, right?
Okay.
So all the people of the dying age, or people that were sick that would have died in the next, I don't know, let's say 3 to 5 years from 2020, even let's go out to 7 years. A lot of those people, they were so unhealthy that they died anyway. So they died. So we had a huge spike in volume, but we were doing the work for less. So we were working 3 times harder for a fraction of the money. So now all like that, again, that pipeline dried up a little bit. So now there's a dip in the death rate. So we all want to just get back to normal. So everybody jokes around, oh, the funeral homes, the funeral industry wants mass casualties. No, we don't. We want steady as she goes. You know, we don't want to do any kids. We want to do old people, 100 or better. You know, it's,
That's your ICP,
what is that?
ideal customer profile.
Oh, yeah.
So because of COVID, it died out. Like there's less people,
Pun intended?
less people dying for a moment after.
So think
that.
of it like an oil, right? Like if there's not enough oil, price goes up. There's not enough to feed the people that need it. So now there's not enough people at dying age. Funeral homes have to raise their prices to offset cost increases everywhere else. Taxes are going up every year. They never come down. Casket prices keep going up. They never come back down. Is there a history in the history of the world? Has there ever been a tax raise where they got people and they were like, we met our quota. We're going to give you back this money.
And you were doing funerals for less because the volume or because of the situation?
Well,
Competition, probably, right?
competition, competition a little bit, but just because the price of everything every year just keeps going up and up and up and up. It's like, you know, when I first came into the business, funerals were probably like $5,500. Now,
My
like,
mom died in 2015. We paid 10 grand. 10 grand was the whole thing.
yeah, now it's not enough money now.
And I thought that was, I was blown away by how expensive it was.
Yeah, but like I said, I'm not making excuses, but to justify like you can't price yourself out, right?
Yeah, of course. That's the market.
All these people, we all have huge overhead to pay. You know?
Yeah, there's not like 30% swings between
No.
you know, 2 different funeral parlors.
No, so there is there's issues now with like online guys, right? Like so they hang their registration, right? So say like I have in order to own a funeral home, you have to have like a brick and mortar building.
Yeah, but you talked about this to me that you can be a funeral director.
So
you
I
go on there.
have privileges, and so do other people who own brick and mortar buildings. Because you could help me, I can help you. So I'm from Wantagh. So let's say one of my friends' parents pass away and they want me to handle the funeral, but they don't want to come out to West Babylon. I could just do the funeral in that surrounding area and pay that funeral home whatever their fee is to use their facility, which is great because I try to market myself as like the community stuff, yes, but also like a concierge funeral service where you call me from, I don't know, name a town. Massapequa. So let's say from there we want to go to Massapequa Funeral Home. I would hold your hand the entire way. We would use their facility, and I would do the funeral at it. It's that simple.
Interesting.
Why would the other place let you do that?
Because if they have, everybody knows somebody
They're not gonna
everywhere.
get it
Right?
anyway.
What do you mean?
I'm not going to get that business,
Why
right?
aren't you going to get that business? If he's
Well, if you're going to use me, you're going to come with me no matter where I go.
That's
right?
what I mean.
So you're either going to, I'm going to give you
it's
the
like
option.
a beforehand situation.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, for argument's sake, let's just say you don't want to come to West Babylon. That's where I'll be able to save you the most money. You come out to me, I'll take more money off the bill because now we don't have to pay this guy over here, right? But if you insist on staying in your neighborhood, that's fine. You know, and most of the time I don't even charge the person for that because it's like a fountain funeral for me. So I just eat the difference and, help the family out. it's a privilege, but not everybody gets that. You have to own another funeral home in order to do it. So if you own, Belmore Funeral Home, and I need to use your facility, and then a week later you go, hey, my cousin Steve died there in West Babylon. Can you help us out? Yeah, of course. It's the guys that are like I was telling you before. Is like there's now guys that are online. They do is they hang their shingle at another funeral home, meaning. A guy comes to me and goes, hey, Van, I'm making numbers up, $1,000 a month to let me say this is where I'm going to be. And then everything gets put through that funeral home. I'm making this way.
It's like a broker.
Yeah, exactly.
You go and you run the show, you do the service.
Now, those guys have zero overhead, and they're coming in and they're doing funerals at a fraction of the price.
That's fucking brilliant. And because, like, when we go back to the conversation before, like, nobody's really marketing this right.
Right.
So you market this right and you do that.
Right. So the problem is guys who own the brick and mortar buildings are like, yeah, let's not do this anymore. Which, because that guy doesn't have to pay the kid the T-ball jersey thing or donate to the Boy Scouts.
What you got to do is you got to build a brand and get more money. And then those guys will like it. I got this fucking figured out.
Just a race to the bottom at that point.
Well, that's exactly what it is.
Which
and,
is
what's the you want to either do volume or you want to work smarter and not hard. You want to play golf 3 days a week or 1 day a week? What do you want to do?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, anything that's commodity is a race to zero.
It's true. But it's frustrating because those guys aren't going to turn out the service that.
But what I think is interesting is like for you that seems like it would be a good way to supplement income. It would, like if you did that.
Yeah, but they're pulling funerals out of your own backyard, right? So they're marketing everywhere. It's not just they're not marketing in Elmont and they're bringing calls into West Babylon.
No, meaning like if you were to be if you were to get funeral director work in spots that weren't yours.
Yeah. So that's when at Links, that's what I try to advertise myself as. Again, but I'm not trying to hang a shingle somewhere. I have a building. I can repay that favor.
Yep.
And I always try to bring them to me first because you're always more comfortable in your own home.
Yeah, it makes sense.
I've gotten so many angles about your business in the time we've been sitting here.
I know. I'm going to get nasty emails.
The funeral house.
People are always dying.
Hey, dying to get in, bro.
Funeral house.
No, man, he's already doing it.
Just saying, call it a funeral house.
Yeah,
How many new
I
places
definitely
open up?
don't need anything
Ever?
else.
Not a lot.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's so believe it or not, there's one new guy that opened up by me. There's like no market research done at all. So like I said, I do 110 funerals a year. It's not like this guy spent, from what I understand, over $2 million on a new building, right? Zero work in the pipeline. Not a dollar. And it's not like I'm doing 500. You could pull 100 funerals away and make a living.
Is it hard to get into that? Anybody can get into it.
You need to have, you need to be licensed first from the state.
The owner of the company needs to be licensed, or the funeral director who performs the funeral?
So you have to have anywhere there's an actual physical body, there needs to be a licensed funeral director.
But like, is there a scenario in which, like, let's say we were like, all right, we're going to buy this building, we're going to turn it into the nicest looking funeral.
Yeah, you
home
have to have a
and
manager.
we hire a guy who's got the license.
Yes.
You can do that?
Yes.
That's wild.
The director's not always the owner.
Correct. 99.99% of the time they are.
They are.
Yeah.
I feel like there's so much innovation coming down the pike for this business.
It's great. I hope to be kept in the loop.
How many people were in that science class when you went back to college? Like 7?
No, probably give or take, right around 30.
What else? My voice.
You all right?
What else would they be? What else were they taking that class for?
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah, it's like, remember BOCES?
Yeah.
You go to school being an electrician?
Yep.
That's what that's for.
Shit.
You said there's so much innovation in this. Like, what you guys take on AI in the funeral industry?
Not good.
I don't know.
Not
Honestly,
good.
I'm always open to it. Look, I'm still in my 30s. I like to think I could handle a little technology, but it's an old school business, man.
Yeah, sure.
It really is. It's very conservative. So it's like to introduce now, like the new big thing is, I don't even say new, but it's like thumbprints. So like we have like a cell phone, iPad, digital scanner thing, and we get a thumbprint of the person, and then they put that on jewelry, and it's just another sales avenue. In reality, it's nice to have. Don't get me wrong.
Interesting.
You got to watch because it's like you're selling on emotion a lot of that stuff, and you don't want to be
What on jewelry? The dead person's fingerprint?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, stick to what it is.
The meat
It's been
and potatoes.
forever,
Yeah. It's like I said, it's provided for 5 generations for our family. You know, it's a good business, but you got to do the right thing. It's just like any other business.
Yeah.
You know, I'm always very customer conscious. I always want to be fair. I don't ever want anybody to think I grabbed them by the ankles and shook the money out of their pockets, because it's not what it's about.
Yeah.
I want you to come back.
Yeah.
Especially in our business, we get like the return customers like on average every 10 years. And now it never goes like that. It's like the grandfather dies and then the grandmother dies a year later, but then you don't see them for however long. So it averages out on every 10 years, but you got to maintain that relationship somehow for a decade.
Yeah.
You know,
It's interesting.
It's definitely difficult.
I don't think it'll change that much, but I've said that before about stuff.
No, I'm going to go on record and say I know it's going to.
Well, it has to change,
and
right?
I see like 5 different.
No, I'm
versions in my
saying
head
the
right now.
process of a funeral. You're saying
No,
the process.
no. I'm saying that like what the experience is going to look like, feel like,
What is it
and
gonna
how
feel
it's
like?
marketed. It's absolutely because
Dude, wait till we get the holograms.
that's where AI is going to.
Hey guys, my room's over here.
If you just think about like our generation and how like advertising towards us, things that are sold to us as opposed to things that are sold to people that are in their 60s and 70s, how it looks different, it feels different, it sounds different. Like just like Starbucks, you know what I mean? Like anything that's like modern in the sense of it all started as like something that was like an old school mom and pop style. Even large companies that grew out of that era still had that aesthetic. The aesthetic of the funeral business is completely ripe to be, and I bet you people are already doing it. I bet you like you go to Los Angeles and there are like fucking funeral parlors that look like, modern, airy.
Yeah, so mine is actually pretty modern. We're in the midst of doing a facelift, and good Lord, everything's so expensive.
Sunlight, you know what I mean? Like
So
floor ceiling
you're never gonna
windows.
have sunlight in
No?
chapels. No, so because what happens is that type of light
Bacteria.
it shows the imperfections on the body.
Interesting.
So like in my funeral home has in the chapels, there's no windows.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Wait, what's a chapel?
where you view the person.
Why are you laughing at me? Because it sounds like a little church. Chapel
Kind-
sounds like a
kinda,
little church.
you know, it's
Don't you
kinda-
get married
Church
in a
is the
chapel?
lovely church of death.
Can't you get married in a
Well, doesn't
chapel?
it have like an altar? Like a chapel has to have an altar?
So we have what's called a bier, which is what the casket sits on.
beer.
Spelled different.
Interesting. I wonder if chapel is the word and it means both of those things equally, or is it just a different kind of chapel?
I guess it's just a different kind of chapel. We've just always called it.
Well, like
that.
if you looked up the word chapel in the dictionary, would it say a church or would it say a building that has XYZ things and it could be a
I
funeral
always thought it was a church.
chapel
I always
or
thought
a
it was
church?
some place you
No.
get mad, like in
But
Vegas.
Yeah,
there's
it
all
says
different
it-
stuff. Other
What does it
funeral
say?
homes.
What do you got, Meg?
A private place of worship is the
Interesting.
first thing that comes up.
Uh,
Yeah.
But there's other funeral homes out there super corny. They're like, "Welcome to the Oakmont room." And it's like,
Oh,
Jesus,
yeah.
dude, come on.
yeah, give me
Oh,
a
they
fucking
mean-
give me a fucking cigar and a whiskey, please.
Yeah, seriously.
They name their little rooms, right? That's what you're saying?
Yeah, they come up with these like ridiculous names that they want them to sound like real, like hoity-toity, like
Right. Sell you an extra $2,000 to get the oak room,
I wish.
Interesting.
the wood floors.
Well, that's
All right.
more than I knew.
Well, hopefully people keep dying for you.
Yeah, I mean they take their
They
time.
will.
Take their time. No
Whenever
rush.
they're ready.
Yeah.
No
Just make sure
rush.
they come to you. When is not important.
No, right. It's not the when. It's more the how.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
we don't
where.
ever wish anybody to die. When you do, though, we just wish you come to us.
Hopefully you've gone to the bathroom recently. You know.
I feel like
Yeah.
it would always be
Oh,
busy.
Some funeral homes it is. There's funeral homes in Long Island that are doing like 1,200 funerals a year, which is absurd.
That's nuts.
That's absurd.
I mean, you are busy every single day.
That guy's playing golf a lot.
Yeah, they're not even in the state.
Yeah. He's playing
He's
golf,
playing golf in Florida
Yeah.
every day.
That guy's building a city in Dubai right now.
He takes his
probably.
boat to the golf course every day.
Goes to his mailbox to get the check.
Yeah,
He's the 0.1% that's not a registered funeral director.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. Oh, he just pays his fee once a year just to say he's got it.
Like that guy.
It's a good guy. I mean, listen, like I said, I don't really know any bad funeral directors because you have to maintain that. Like, I don't, Debbie
Gotta imagine a
do-gooders
bad rep will get around fast in that business.
way faster than a good rep.
Yeah.
You cremate one wrong person, and good Lord.
Does that ever really happen?
Of course.
What?
Yeah, of course.
People have cremated.
So I'm not
going
to name names to.
No, I don't need names, but I'm
save
saying
the
like,
sovereignty.
Like the person was supposed to
like
be
Sally
buried.
was supposed to be.
Somebody just today in the news sent me an article about somebody was on hospice, was pronounced dead, and like woke up again. This is like the third time in 3 years that I've heard this. I don't know if that's true. You know, I read it on Facebook, so obviously it must be true. But
Nobody ever woke up before the embalming.
not by me. Not that I tell you about.
You wouldn't
All
tell
sales are
anybody.
final, dude.
Just a little, you know.
Yeah.
They'd probably
Now
let you
you're
keep
dead.
that money. They'd probably let you keep that money.
I mean, maybe. I mean, listen,
She's
anybody.
alive.
If you get pronounced dead, you're on death's door, right? So it's only a matter of time.
Yeah.
It's a wild business. It's got its ups and its downs like anything else.
No, it's one that I
different.
ever knew about it.
It's definitely
Yeah, I
different.
feel
Yeah,
enlightened.
it's crazy.
Also,
Yeah.
you look exactly like my brother. It's really fucking freaking me out.
who?
Could be the
does?
yeah.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I thought it was the edibles for a little while, but I needed a confirmation.
Holy shit, he does.
Yeah, he does.
Wow.
Well, he's a good-looking dude, huh?
You really look exactly like his
Oh my god.
Hey man, I did this podcast with this guy. You could look this good if you wanted.
Maybe if you were a funeral director, not a corrections officer, you look like this guy.
Oh, dude, that's
Yeah.
a shit job, huh?
Miserable.
Just every day, day in and out, just fucking dealing with the worst of society, and always trying to con you into something. I don't envy any police. Like I don't even know why you'd want to do that job anymore.
Well, it's also so political too. Like I never understood the politics of all of those jobs.
Yeah,
it's all my brother talks about.
Yeah,
it was
well,
like these guys got fucking iPads. There's one fucking corrections officer for 100 people. It used to be one for 10. And I'm like, the governor's a fucking asshole.
Yeah,
I'm
every
like,
now
"Bro, I
and then
don't
they
have
get
time
their
for
shit
this."
kicked out of them.
Yeah,
It's like, well, what were you doing in there? Yeah, it's again, law enforcement is just, I don't know why anybody goes into it. You're just so underappreciated. It's like,
it's tough.
the way the society is now, it's like you're one way or the other way. And it's like, where did all the normal people go?
Yeah,
Like, it's like you're either a Democrat or you're either pro-Trump or you're not pro-Trump. You're with us or against us. It's like, why can't you just like, hey, this guy did some good stuff. This guy did some good stuff.
Yeah,
Right.
it seems like you don't get a lot of like just regular like people think different things. You just
Yeah.
have extremes.
I feel like half the country, 40% of the country is one way, 40%, and then there's like this 10% in the middle that
But
they're fighting over.
I don't think that's really true. I think that's how it's presented online. I think
Well,
like when you actually talk to people,
Yeah.
people are brave enough because people are afraid too. People
So
are afraid
I'm-
to talk about this shit because they don't want to offend nobody. They don't want to say anything wrong. But if you're brave enough to have these conversations,
Which you
I
have
think
to
for
be.
the most part, you're gonna find that most people are kind of like, I don't really know, man. I just want things to be better, and I don't know.
Yeah, so what scares the shit out of me more than anything is like the flow of information has changed so dramatically in such a short period of time. Who do you believe? One
it's hard-
side
it's-
says one thing, one side says the other thing.
It's hard to know.
And then like, sometimes am I capable of forming my own opinion? Like where do you get the like unfiltered news from? It's
No
it's
idea.
not
I don't
available.
think there is one.
And like, can they go back?
But I think to be fair though, like in the history of mankind, like there's never been such thing as unfiltered news. It's never existed.
no, I just think it's so now in your face with social media. Everything, every time you pick up your phone.
Well, no, it's just we're more aware of how corrupt. It's
more extreme.
We're more aware of how corrupt everything is, whereas in the past there was a lot less options. So
Sure.
it was under the guise of like this is free and balanced when it's never been. I think
No.
that like if you're in charge, if you're like the ruling party of any government or situation, you're not going to be like, yeah, you know what? Let's give all these people the opportunity to not make us in charge and not let us be able to
Yeah,
do
right. You don't want to
the
ever let go of your
organization.
power.
And I think it's not all like malevolent and all like, bunch of bad people in a room. I think there's probably a lot of like good intentioned aspect of it. Like they don't really know what's best for them. So
I
we're
think
going
they
to try to
all
help.
start with good intentions.
Yeah, I think
and then
so.
I think they get so knee
But I think
deep in
ultimately
bullshit.
you can't have, well, I mean, we haven't proved it yet as humans, but like we've proven that we need some people to say, okay, this is what you guys got to fucking do.
All I'm looking for, dude, is just the inside tips on the Pelosi trading platform, dude. I mean, help me out,
She's still making money.
dude. What does she make in Congress? Like
I'm good with a
$250 a year?
little less taxes and a little more good
Whatever
news.
happened with that guy where he got beat up and when he answered the door? I mean,
Oh, he got hit in the head with the hammer.
yeah,
Her husband.
what's up? That just goes away.
I think it was like it happened to be. I don't know the exact story, but I don't think it was like some crazy right wing guy. I could be wrong.
He was like over the house
Wasn't
already.
like a gay lover.
Well,
or
that's
something?
what they
I thought
thought
it was a gay lover.
No,
They both
I
had
don't-
like wine glasses.
I don't know. Dude, when you're that,
He hit him with a high
she's
heel.
like what? Like she's like what? The third most powerful person in the country. Like if it was a gay thing, that shit got swept under the rug so fast.
But how do you get that under the rug so quickly?
Well, when you're in charge, what do you mean? How do you get it swept up? You
Yeah,
own the rug.
when you could push a button and just delete somebody's life.
Yeah, when you call up
gotta
the
be
guy that
somewhere.
owns fucking CNN, all right, listen, this is how it's going to go.
Yeah,
You know
hey,
what I mean?
Roop, it's me.
Yeah, or else we're going to release the tapes.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
I'm gonna tell them where the bodies are buried.
Yeah, that's how that shit works, man. But it's always been that way. It's always been
It's
that
got to
way.
be a price, right?
Of course it's a
Yeah,
price.
of course.
Sure.
Of course it's a price.
It's a payoff to all the big ones.
But
Don't
when you
show
go
this.
to I was having this conversation. I was just in the Dominican Republic over the weekend. I was having a conversation similar to this, to where they over there, it's a small country. It's only 10 million people, the whole country. So, corruption is a lot harder to hide.
Right.
It's a lot more obvious because there's only 10 million people. So it's like you there's no like box to put it in. Their budget, the amount of money that they have, the resources that they have to do what they want to do is substantially less.
Right.
But like with us, it's as up until social media, it's been how is anybody ever going to know what they do and what they decide to do and what they hide?
Correct.
Only since social media has it got a little bit more difficult to hide the corruption, but the government's inherently like
Look at like Ukraine, right? That was before the war. They were the most corrupt country on the planet.
so says us.
Right. So their president was literally a comedian playing the piano.
Yeah, I
with his
saw
dick.
that on Rogan. Yeah,
Like that's,
Yeah.
that's what that guy was before that. Not to knock him. Look, he rose to the
yeah,
ranks
but
however he
Ronald
rose.
Reagan was a Hollywood actor. I mean,
Right.
he didn't play the piano with his dick.
You
as far
don't
as,
know
as far
that.
as
Wait,
we
this
know,
guy played the piano with his dick, you said?
Yeah.
the guy from Ukraine. Yeah,
Nice. That was part of his bit?
that was
or
one
he
of his
just
bits.
liked to
yeah.
do that?
That was part of his
It's
bit.
part of his bit. But like, if you don't think that that's a proxy war between the United States and Russia, you're out of your fucking mind.
Of course it is.
You know.
But I think I think everything is that and has always been.
But I think what I'm going to say next might be a little controversial. But better off us than them, right? I know that those are human lives over there.
you mean to have the dick playing president?
Yeah. Would you want,
Well, I mean,
Probably rather have the dick playing president than the one we have.
obviously, I've never seen a dick president play. Look, I guess you're right.
Well, I mean, the guy who might be president just got fucking arrested for fucking
Right,
paying
exactly.
off porn stars.
He's going-
So, like, I don't know, man.
What a time to be
I
alive,
think,
right?
yeah, what a time to be alive. I think that's the way.
I just think everybody's gone fucking nuts, honestly. Like,
I think John Kelly should run for president. He'd probably win.
Who? R. Kelly?
I don't have time for that.
He's in jail. It turns out you can do that anyway.
R. Kelly.
Yeah, that turned out to be not so bad, right? Just peeing on people. It's way worse shit.
What?
going
He's
on
not
out there.
doing anything?
What?
He's not in jail.
He's
Yeah, he's in jail. He was peeing on
okay.
kids.
I was going to say, there was a documentary that I watched that was awful.
You can pee on whoever you want, except that they're kids.
Yeah, you got to be of age, dude.
There's a whole island where you could do that. You know?
Yeah.
What are you guys talking about?
Dude, you gotta start watching
I'm
the
gonna pee
news.
on a kid in a minute if you don't end this fucking podcast.
Only if they get bit by a
All
jellyfish.
right, we did it.
you
We
can
did it.
pee on
Vince,
them.
you did great. You did great.
We think that was his excuse. He was like, "Oh, they all recently were stung by jellyfish. Had to help him out."
I saw the red rash. There was a red rash.
All right, thanks for listening to the podcast, everyone, and welcome. By the way, we never welcomed the fans, but welcome and have a good time. Good day.